Hi, I'm Corey, founder of Neuron. Don't buy an AI agent on a hunch. Let me show you the simple way to put a real dollar figure on it before you spend a cent, and exactly when it pays for itself. Before you buy a single AI agent, let me give you the one thing almost nobody does first. A simple way to put a real dollar figure on it, before you ever pay. Here's how most owners decide. A demo looks impressive, the pitch sounds good, and they buy on a gut feeling. Then 3 months later, they're guessing whether it was worth it. You don't have to guess. An AI agent is just an employee you can price out on a napkin, and the math is honestly boring, which is exactly why it's trustworthy. So here's the whole model in one line, and then I'll show you exactly how to fill it in. An agent is worth it the moment the work it recovers is worth more than what it costs you each month. There are three things an agent gives back, and your whole ROI is just the sum of them. Gather these three numbers before you talk to any vendor. 1. The leads you miss. The after-hours form. The call that hits voicemail. The inquiry that comes in while you're with a client. Count how many of those slip away in a typical week. Input 2. The conversions you lose to a slow reply. When a lead waits hours for an answer, most of them have already booked with whoever responded first. That's recoverable revenue, and you should track it on its own. And input 3. The back office hours. The repetitive work someone on your team does by hand. Keying in intake, sending review requests, chasing no-shows, following up. Count how often it happens and how long each one takes. Write those three down before anything else. A vague guess here is the single most common reason a real win looks like a loss on paper later. Here's exactly what to gather. Now, let's actually run it. I'll use one honest example you can copy with your own numbers, and I'll flag it clearly as an example, not an industry stat. First, turn the task into hours. Say a front desk task happens 45 times a week and eats about 8 minutes each, switching time included. Volume times minutes divided by 60 times 4.33 weeks in a month. That comes out to about 26 hours a month handed back to your team. That's the hours saved number, and it's the floor, the part you can defend in a spreadsheet. Next, price those hours honestly. Don't use the wage on the offer letter. Use the loaded cost. Federal labor data puts wages at roughly 70% of total compensation. So multiply the base wage by about 1.4 for benefits and payroll taxes. Use a loaded rate around $23 an hour. 26 hours times $23 is about $598 of cost removed every month, and that's before a single recovered lead. And remember, that's only input 3. The missed leads and the slow response conversions sit on top as upside, usually the bigger number, just harder to attribute. So keep it in its own column. Now, the cost side of the equation, and we'll keep it in plain numbers, no games. Here's the price, stated plainly. $1,000 to set the agent up and $500 a month to run it. A managed agent, tuned and watched, not software you're handed and left to babysit. So do the subtraction. $598 removed, minus the $500 monthly fee, leaves about $98 of net value every month. Positive from month 1 on hours saved alone. And the payback on the setup is just the setup fee divided by that net value. $1,000 over 98 a month is a payback of about 10 months on the conservative floor, and far faster once you count the leads it saves. But here's the line that actually matters, and it's the whole point. The agent pays for itself the moment it recovers more than its monthly fee. For a $500 agent at a loaded rate, that's roughly 10 hours a month. Clear that, and everything above it is profit. Now, a fair question. Does that math hold up over time, or does the agent get worse the day after you buy it? Here's the honest version of how it actually improves. First, what it is not. It does not secretly retrain a model on your customers. What it does is concrete. When your team corrects a reply, that correction is captured and reused. Your judgment remembered. Three loops. Your corrections become reusable examples. Real outcomes drive human-approved playbook revisions, and errors tighten the guardrails. You correct it once, a person approves the change, and it remembers. That's why this is a managed service, not a thing you buy and abandon. And it's why the ROI actually grows. It gets sharper at your work every single week. Which raises the question every serious owner asks before they let anything touch their customers or their books. Is it safe? We engineer for that from day one. A human stays in the loop on everything that matters. The agent handles the high-frequency, rules-shaped work, but the moment something is high-value, sensitive, or off-script, it hands off to a person with the full context. Safety isn't a setting we bolt on at the end. It's three things built into the core. Guardrails that keep it in its lane, a human in the loop, and real security, with your data isolated per client, never pooled, never shared. So here's how to actually make the call in about 2 minutes. Run these questions and the answer falls out. Name the one task that hurts most. Don't list 5. Estimate its real weekly volume and honest minutes. Find your loaded hourly cost. Run those 3 numbers and ask whether you can actually measure the outcome. Because if you can't prove the ROI or run the learning loop. And know when the answer is no, because that's what makes the yes trustworthy. If the task is genuinely low volume, needs fresh judgment every time, or you can't measure it, wait. Or bundle it with something bigger so the hours add up. In practice, the front desk tasks tend to clear the floor first. A clinic reclaiming 25 hours a month of booking and no-show chasing is already past a $500 agent, before counting a single recovered consult. Same story for a home services crew. Every after-hours call answered and booked instead of lost is recovered work a staffing comparison misses entirely. Run your own task through it and see where you land. So here's the real shift this gives you. Out of the guesswork, into a number you can stand behind. Before, you're buying on a pitch and hoping it pays off. After, you've got hours saved, revenue recovered, and a payback period written down, a decision you can defend, and a number you can hold the agent to. That's the whole method. Count the missed leads, the slow response losses, and the back office hours. Price them at your loaded rate. Subtract the flat fee. If it recovers more than it costs, it pays for itself, and a managed agent keeps that number growing. We'll run these numbers on your actual volume and tell you the honest payback before you commit a dollar. If you want, so picture life after the system. The phone still rings and leads still come in at midnight, but now every one of them gets answered, qualified, and booked automatically. Your front desk stops being a bottleneck and becomes a growth engine. If you want one built and run on your own front desk, book an intro call at the link below. I'll see you inside.